Hello everyone. Welcome to NCERT for UPSC. Today we are going to discuss chapter 3 of class 6 NCERT geography, which is motions of the earth. By the end of this video, we will understand the basic terms like rotation, revolution, orbital plane, circle of illumination, summer solstice, winter solstice and equinox. So let's begin our video. Motions of the earth. Earth has two types of motions. One is rotation, one is revolution. Rotation is nothing but the movement of the earth on its own axis. It is known as daily motion and earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, and this period is called as earth day. And always remember, earth rotates from west to east. Now let's see what is a revolution. Revolution is nothing but the movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit. This is sun. This is the elliptical orbit of the earth. This can be earth, which is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit which is fixed. Now let's see what is an orbital plane. Orbital plane is nothing but the plane formed by the orbit. So if we look into the picture, this is the axis of the earth, and we can say this is the equator of the earth. Then this can be the orbital plane of the earth. An orbital plane is nothing but the flat imaginary surface in which the earth travels as it orbits the sun, and the orbital plane represents the path of the earth's orbit around the sun. And you can see here as well, if this is the north pole, if this is the south pole, this is the earth, and the line that is passing from north pole to south pole is axis, and this line is equator. Whereas here we can see the orbital plane, and axis of the earth makes an angle of 66.5 degrees with its orbital plane. That means inclined by 23.5 degrees. So this is axis and this is orbital plane. And if we measure this angle, earth is inclined by 23.5 degrees and this angle is 66.5 degrees, which earth axis is making an angle of 66.5 degrees with the orbital plane. Now let's see what is circle of illumination. Circle of illumination is that circle that divides the day from night on the globe, and this does not coincide with the axis. We can see it in the picture. This is the axis and this is circle of illumination, whereas sun is here. So the sun rays are falling on the earth on this side. So this part of the earth is experiencing the day and this part of the earth is experiencing the night. So this circle which is dividing the day and night of the earth is called circle of illumination, and it does not coincide with the axis. Now let's understand what happens if earth does not rotate. If earth do not rotate, half side of the earth would receive continuous sun rays and other half would be remain in darkness and be freezing. Life would not be possible in these extreme conditions. And one thing to remember here, revolution takes 365 and 1/4 days to revolve around the sun, which is considered as 1 year. But we consider only 365 days for an year and ignore 6 hours for the sake of convenience. And these 6 hours are saved for 4 years, and this surplus day added to month of February in 4th year, which is called a leap year, having 366 days. That is 29 days in February. So 6 hours every year for 4 years equal to 24 hours. This 24 hours makes a day and it is added to the leap year for every 4 years in the month of February. That is called leap year. I hope you understood till now. And remember, Earth rotates around the sun in a tilted angle. Earth does not revolve like this around the sun, but Earth revolves around the sun in a tilted angle of 23.5 degrees. This is the axis of the Earth. So it rotates like this. So here, Earth is going around the sun in elliptical orbit, and throughout its orbit, Earth is inclined in the same direction. As we have discussed earlier, if this is the sun and if this is the elliptical orbit of the Earth, and this is the Earth and this is the axis of the Earth, it means the Earth is inclined towards the same side throughout the revolution. So if the Earth's axis is inclined towards this side, in every position of the Earth, it is inclined towards the same direction. It means if the Earth is in this position, the sun rays are maximum on this side of the axis. And if the earth is in this position, the sun rays are maximum on this side of the axis of the earth. So that's why the seasons changes. Here you can see seasons change due to the change in the position of the earth around the sun. And we will discuss about seasons more clearly in the coming chapters. So now let's see what is summer solstice. Summer solstice occurs on 21st of June every year, and it occurs when northern hemisphere of the earth is tilted toward the sun and sun rays falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer. So if we look into the picture, this is the sun and this is the earth. This is northern hemisphere and this is southern hemisphere. So this is the axis of the earth and this is the equator of the earth. So when northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, the summer solstice occurs. And when this is the equator, approximately here the Tropic of Cancer lies. And this can be the Tropic of Capricorn. I hope you are understanding. And North Pole inclined towards sun. North Pole inclined towards sun. And Arctic Circle experiences continuous daylight for 6 months. So from here to here, the North Pole is inclined towards the sun. So for this 6 months, this period is 6 months. And this one revolution, total revolution is 1 year. So for this 6 months, the North Pole is inclined towards the sun. So the Arctic Circle experiences continuous daylight for 6 months. And north of the equator experiences summer, longest days and shortest nights. So north of the equator, this is the equator and this is the north part. This part of the earth experiences the summer and this part will have longest days and shortest nights. And if we talk about southern hemisphere, it experiences winter, which means long nights and shorter days. Now let's also discuss about winter solstice and equinoxes. So if we talk about winter solstice occurs on 22nd December of every year, and it occurs when southern hemisphere tilted towards sun and rays falls directly on the Tropic of Capricorn. Where we discussed about summer solstice before, winter solstice is exactly opposite of the summer solstice, which means where northern hemisphere is tilted towards sun in summer solstice, whereas southern hemisphere is tilted towards sun in the winter solstice. And rays falls directly on the Tropic of Capricorn in winter solstice, whereas Tropic of Cancer on the summer solstice. And here summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere. So look at this picture. Here is the winter solstice and sunrise falls directly on this side of the earth. This is the axis of the earth and this is the equator of the earth. So the sun rays falls more on southern hemisphere of the earth. And this is the Tropic of Capricorn, we can say, and the rays falls directly on the Tropic of Capricorn. So that's why summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere. Summer in the southern hemisphere means longer days and shorter nights in the southern hemisphere and longer nights and shorter days in northern hemisphere. And here is a fun fact, Australia celebrates Christmas in summer. As we know, Australia lies in the southern hemisphere and winter solstice occurs on 22nd December, which means in December, the southern hemisphere are experiencing the summer. Now let's know what are equinox days. Equinox days occurs on 21st March and 23rd September of every year, and sun rays falls directly on the equator. Neither of the poles tilted towards the sun. Whole earth experiences equal days and equal nights. So if you look at the picture, these are the equinox days, 21st March and 23rd September. So this is the axis of the earth and this is the equator of the earth, where sun rays falls directly on the equator. This is actually that side. This is a 2D image, but you can imagine this is the equator and it is directly towards the sun, and this side of the equator is directed towards the sun on 23rd September. And 21st March on this side. And 21st March is spring in northern hemisphere and autumn in southern hemisphere. And 23rd September is autumn in northern hemisphere and spring in southern hemisphere. So on this day, northern hemisphere experiences spring and southern hemisphere experiences autumn. And on 23rd September, the northern hemisphere experiences autumn, whereas southern hemisphere experiences spring. Spring is nothing but the change of season from winter to summer, whereas autumn is the change from summer to winter. Here you can see. So thus, days and nights and changes in the seasons are because of the rotation and revolution of the earth respectively. It means we need to understand the change in a day, which are day and night, are due to the rotation of the earth, whereas the change in the seasons are due to the revolution of the earth and the position of the earth on its orbit. So thank you. This is the third chapter of Class 6 NCERT Geography. Jai Hind.